I'd like to call this meeting of the Southwest Licking Local Board of Education to order. I'd like to welcome everyone here and everyone at home, and if you all could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
This is Mrs. Hayes' focus group saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Mr. Ball.
Mr. Jones, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Engel.
Here.
Mrs. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes, here.
Zani. Here. Mr. Benson.
Present. We have a quorum. We will continue. Public participation? None. Adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel.
Yes.
Mrs. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler.
Yes.
Mr. Zani. Yes. Mr. Benson.
Yes, agenda is adopted. We'll move on to presentations. I'd like to welcome up Watkins Middle School Agricultural Program. And we're here to discuss the green flag designation.
Good evening. With me tonight is our middle school teachers, Deanna Carpus and Allie Miller, both fantastic teachers at the middle school. And we're going to just share a little bit of information tonight about our green flag designation that we received over the summer. So just a little bit of information. I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit about it. All the credit goes to these two educators to my left here. They are phenomenal. They do incredible work. And as you'll see, I've asked them to kind of share just some of the things that they were evaluated through the National Wildlife Federation about. So the green flag designation recognizes something called eco schools. And so what ends up happening with this is basically you can apply for an eco school designation, which we did 2 years ago. And today, over 5,400 schools across the country in all 50 states service about 3 million kids in these eco school programs. We were, in the first year in 2024, you can see on the screen there, we were a gold standard, and this year, obviously, we got the highest rating, which was a green flag designation. Just to give you an idea of kind of how this operates here, they aim to recognize environmental excellence in school as a focus. And so you can see there starts with bronze. You can even just have an ecosystem designation but not get a rating, but this is a yearly evaluation. Of all the schools in the state, we are one of only 3 in Central Ohio and one of only 7 in the entire state that received a green flag designation. And I believe on the next slide here, you can see a picture of the flag there, and of 286 schools with that designation in the United States, only 27 of those received a green flag status. So pretty proud of that, something that we've worked really hard to do. And, as this is year 5 of our ag program, when we started out and kind of were throwing around this idea, we were incredibly fortunate that Dr. Perkins and Mr. Tanchevsky were open, to this suggestion to develop this program. It has grown by leaps and bounds. I mean, it was phenomenal. Even just on Tuesday night, we had our student of the quarter meeting to hear of a senior who would have been the first 8th grade class to come through, who was recognized, and she's been doing FFA, which is connected to this program. She also is going to be moving forward in her college endeavors to seek out an agricultural background too, and I do think a lot of that stems from the work that the two teachers here have been engaged in. This is a major, this ag program is a major defining characteristic of our building. Every teacher, every kid in the building has some role to play in this, whether they're contributing to the recycling program or they're helping out with composting. It's something I think we're all very, very proud of. We're incredibly proud of the dedication that these programs and these projects have done to focus on innovation. A lot of what is done in these classrooms is very tied to 21st century learning skills. When you're talking about project and problem-based learning, it's active. It's something tied to things that are done in the community, not just within the building. We're partnered with our food service program Deanna will talk a little bit about, how we're working with the Pataskala Parks now, Dawes Arboretum, the Pass Foundation, just a lot of awesome opportunities for our students to get a lot of hands-on learning experience. And again, in no small part to the tireless work that these two put forth. They're here constantly over the summer and in the weekends. Dedication doesn't even define what these two do. So while this is a school recognition, that dedication and that determination also needs to be kind of focused on the work that they do. So I just stand back and try to get out of the way most days on that. And so with that, the other thing I'll just mention before I turn it over to them so they can tell you about some of the specific things that allowed us to get this designation. The one thing, like I said, it connects so much to what we do in the community. It ties directly to our district mission and vision. It ties to our building vision statements, and ultimately when we talk about lifelong learners and people giving back to their community, this is in large part to that. And so the student ownership of these programs is immense, and it's something we continue to be very proud of. So I'm going to go ahead and take a step back, and I'm going to let Allie and Deanna kind of talk specifically, just briefly about what they're doing in their classrooms and in their programs and how that ties into what we're doing here. You want me to hold the clicker thing?
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so
Here, why don't you stand up here by the mic?
sure. So the way this works is you have to get at least 100 points to get a green flag. So this year, we ended up getting 134 points, largely due to like some of our bigger programs that we started, one of them being the Farm to School program. So if we do something like one of the larger projects, like the Farm to School program, you get more points towards it. So like we might have gotten like 25 points or so from the Farm to School program. So this year we started the last school year we started the Farm to School program, and we donated 138 pounds of produce to the middle school cafeteria. This year, so far, just in the first quarter, we've already doubled that. So we have 156 pounds of produce just in the first quarter. And we're hoping to continue to grow the food forest so we can hopefully be able to give it to other buildings also, not just to the middle school. We also started our cafeteria composting program. We collected over 2,000 pounds of compost just in the first year, and already this year in the first quarter, we've collected 1,106 pounds of compost. All of this compost goes back into our school garden so that we can have better produce for the cafeteria. The vermicomposting, this is our worm composting. This gets us even better compost that we use in the garden. The kids love the worms, and they get to feed the worms and take care of the worms, and they enjoy doing that too. Oops, sorry. These are Allie's kids. She can tell you maybe a little bit more about this in a few minutes, but her kids wrote a book about vermicomposting, and then they went out to the was it Pataskala? Kirkersville Elementary, and they read books, and each of the kids got to take home their own little mini worm bins. Another project that we did was a smaller project, is the textile project. So the students in the class learned about a textile waste and how it impacts the environment. And then they were tasked with trying to come up with taking some old clothes that they got from Goodwill that they had in their closet, and they had to upcycle them, and then they did a fashion show. We also had a fashion designer who works for Hollister. She is actually from Pataskala area. She graduated from Watkins, and she made like a video for them, and they got to learn all about like the life of fashion design and the fashion industry. And then we also did Eco Week, which was a building-wide initiative that we've done for 2 years in April, I think it was in April, around testing time. And the kids go out, we do a door decorating contest. They go out and actually do some things in the community and clean up trash and things like that. This was yours.
So the macroinvertebrate survey, that was a stream study we do. We study the stream off of Warrior Way. We did chemical testing, and then this year we upped it up a little bit by having not Southwest Licking, that's where we are, the Licking County Soil and Water come in, and they helped the kids complete that stream study. So they got to show them the proper way to look for macroinvertebrates, and then they calculated the score of what that means for a water quality. We have good water quality in that stream. We created a pollinator garden in the courtyard, and we're continuing to still grow that this year, but all native plants to Ohio. We had a big donation from Monarch Meadows that's kind of tied with Lynn's Fruit Farm. They donated to us, and then just plants from our program that we're in that gives us money. And then our kids also do the recycling for the building. So they go out every Wednesday, they collect the recycling. Small groups do while the other group is working on a project. But then they come back and they will also decontaminate it, because we talk about, we had a guest speaker, she's in the bottom right, but she's from Licking County Recycling. And we talk about how so many people try to recycle things that aren't recyclable and what that can lead to. So they sort out things that shouldn't be in there, and we keep track of the data for the cleanest hallway. And last year they created a little award for the winning teachers in that hallway. This year they haven't came up with an award yet, but they're going to. And we put the data on a poster in the hallway so other teachers can see it. And then we also have digital slides that they can see, like, what hallway was the cleanest and the best at doing the recycling.
All right, so what are the eco teams working on right now? This year's eco team we have started over the summer. I reached out to Lanier Crawford. He works for the Pataskala Parks and Rec, and they had an issue with their ponds, and so they got a grant, and they were trying to, like, improve the biodiversity of the pond. They were, like, digging the pond a little bit deeper because it got a little bit too hot over the summer. And he was telling me that their next step was that they were going to start building fish habitats. And I was like, hey, that's a really good idea for my kids. They would love that. So we did a field trip to the park. I think in the next slide, you can see that when we went to the park, they did a biodiversity check. They looked at the quality of the water. They did some fishing and looked at all of the species that are around the ponds. We did 2 of the 3 ponds in Pataskala. And then the students have been working on building fish habitats for the ponds. And then we are going to, there will be a day coming up that we're going to go out to the ponds and we're going to drop the habitats into the water. We also have been working on expanding the food forest. They have been putting together more raised beds so that we have more growing space and hopefully be able to get more and more produce out to the cafeterias. And there will be a lot more to come, but this is where we're at so far this year. So.
Wow, that's phenomenal. We're just very proud of what you've done. It's bringing a lot of great publicity to our community, and we're thankful for how I never would have dreamed that it would become as big as it has. Thank you, guys.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan, always have been, so.
I would agree. I think back to when you first came on board before Allie joined you, and just how much we've grown with the 2 of you guys and everything going on. It's just super awesome.
So we do have a certificate for you, and we'd like to have a picture. All right.
Thank you. Over the summer, I know that we're right before school started, you did some extra photos, and you did an opportunity for the community to partake in that, and that was a great partnership with the county. So we really appreciate that.
Let's see. Someone could get in there. If you guys want to come, Dan, can you take the picture for me? Please. Jared, do you want to be in the picture? It's your building. John, John, you can get in, give him the certificate, give him the picture, you know.
Do you want to say the pledge?
Yeah, thank you guys for being here.
I now would like to invite food services.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight to share the annual food service report. Throughout the presentation, all the pictures that you see are from our food kitchen, our school kitchens. The first one here is fresh watermelon that we got from Bernie's Farm Market here in Pataskala. For the 25-26 school year, we still have the same statuses for students. They can either be free, reduced, or paid. And for the 3rd year in the row, anyone who qualifies as a reduced eligibility still maintains that they get a breakfast and a lunch at no cost. Our meal prices to parents have remained unchanged for the last 7 years. So it's $1.25 for breakfast, $2.75 for K-12, $3 for middle school, and $3.25 for high school. And then we do continue to sell a la carte snack and beverages to grades 1 through 12. Our meal participation for September, we had South Fork and Kirkersville. They had the highest breakfast participation at 26 and 25%. And then middle school, South Fork and Etna had the highest lunch participation with over 60% of the students eating lunch in the cafeteria. District-wide, last month we did about 2,700 lunches daily, 800 breakfasts daily, and then that means 3,500 meals per day. For our USDA regulations for 25-26, they focused on added sugars. So they looked at milk, cereal, and yogurt specifically and said that we needed to make sure that we were in those certain guidelines that you see listed there. And then the next change won't come until 27-28, where they're going to look at added sugars for the entire week, across the full week. And then they're also going to reduce sodium once again. I think they've done that 3 times in the last 7 years. For our student meal debt, so this is just showing that we have about 160 students that owe $1,300 in debt. So these would be families that have not applied for free and reduced meals for this school year, and that are charging meals. And you can see our free and reduced percentages listed there. I have it by each building. And then for our district so far this year, we're at 39% of our students are free or reduced. Recent events that took place, we were able to go down to downtown Columbus and participate in the GFS food show. We also went to the School Nutrition Association event in Newark, and we were able to take 2 of our head cooks each of those times to those events with us. And then we just finished up a contest, which was called the Bright Bite Delight Contest. And it was pretty exciting because all the buildings got really involved in it and participated in it. And basically, they just needed to submit pictures of items throughout their food line, their food presentations and things that they prepared. And we got over 50 pictures. And then different people throughout the district office voted on them to see which ones they liked best. This one that's pictured here was one of the winners. Our partnerships continue with Lynn Fruit Farm, Bernie's Farm Market, and the Middle School Ag Program. Last week, we went to Lynn Fruit Farm and procured 2,000 apples and used those for last Thursday for Apple Crunch Day. So we just distributed those to each of the buildings, and then they served them in different ways. Some of them did parfaits. There's some different yogurt parfaits they used. And you can see the smiley face in the apples that Etna did. Then we also are still working with Bernie's Farm Market. She's providing produce once a week to the schools, and mostly the tomatoes and cucumbers and some peppers come from them. And then I can't say enough about the Middle School Ag Program, which you obviously just heard about as well. We are super excited to be able to benefit from all the work that they do there. And so, like as Deanna mentioned, they've already given us 252 pounds that we've been able to use in the lunch line this year, which is really cool for the students that work in that program to actually see that food there and be able to use that. And then just the produce itself, the quality is good, it tastes good. And then, as she said, we give the scraps from the kitchen then back to that program, and they use it for their compost. We've gotten from her this year so far mostly like strawberries, peppers, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, cucumber, and melons. Here's some more pictures from her program that just shows the kids getting it and the produce. And then lastly, in regards to compliance, we do, our menus are based on the National School Lunch and Breakfast Program, so we are doing, making sure that we use all 5 vegetable subgroups. 80% of all of our grains that are offered are whole grain, and then we do have to comply by the USDA Smart Snack and Beverage Guidelines. We are on the Offer versus Serve program, so we make sure to, we make sure that we're serving all 5 food groups daily. They have to be offered to the students, and then the students just have to choose 3, and one of those has to be a fruit or a vegetable. The food or beverages that we do sell during the day all must be compliant with that, or they may not be sold during the school day. And I thank you guys for your time and support. That's all I have. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't think so. Financially, I know the price has stayed steady for 7 years. Do you foresee any sort of increase in where you would have to come and ask for increased rate, or?
I would say not in the near future, but yes, definitely down the road. We're in good shape now from everything, but as you know, prices are getting higher and higher. So eventually I think that will go away. Plus there's regulations that are set forth that indicate that we have to spend down a little bit with that. And if they make us do that, then that would require that as well. But where we're at right now, it should be completely fine. There shouldn't be any need to.
Okay, and have we done any more research on finding a company instead of My School Bucks? Is there any progress there?
We have, unfortunately, they're pretty much the same across the board as far as the cost goes. They're all gonna charge another cost, and they're all pretty high what they charge. I've talked around to several districts. I meet with districts bi-weekly, other areas to check to see what they have, and they're all kind of the same. They all do that charge. With this one, we're unique because if we change our My School Bucks, it also has to change our menu program, which also has to change our POS program.
Okay.
So if it's good in one area, it might not help be beneficial in the other areas as well. But we are still looking into it since we do the pay schools with what we have here. We kind of looked into that, but it doesn't work with the POS system that we have. So there's lots of different things that go involved. It's not just a matter of the cost, but what will work with that other program that we have. But absolutely, we continue to look at it anytime something comes up.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to Aetna and Continuous Improvement Plan.
Good evening.
Hey
I'm
there.
Travis Smith, principal of Aetna Elementary. I'm pleased to share highlights from our 2025-2026 Continuous Improvement Plan. Our CIP focuses on two main areas, student learning and student experience, and is designed to ensure every Aetna Eagle is growing academically, socially, and emotionally. Our first goal in student learning, our goal at Aetna Elementary, is for all students to demonstrate expected growth across all subgroups, as measured by the local report card and local assessments. We're achieving this through three interconnected strategies. Strategy one, using high-quality student data. Teachers are using three-year trend data from assessments like Acadience to identify patterns, set achievable goals for each student, and adjust instruction accordingly. Grade level teams meet regularly to analyze data, identify strengths and gaps, and reflect through root cause analysis to inform next steps. Strategy two, it's focused professional development and collaboration. We continue to invest in professional learning around the science of reading, Orton Gillingham, and our district-adopted ELA and math curriculums. Teachers use collaboration time to dig into student data, share instructional practices, and plan lessons that are both standard-aligned and responsive to student needs. Strategy three, it's targeted support through MTSS and WIN, which is the What I Need block. Through the multi-tiered system of supports and WIN blocks, every student receives instruction matched to their skill level. For students who need intervention, we implement research-based programs like PSI and letters to close specific reading gaps. For those above grade level, we provide enrichment opportunities to stretch their learning and keep them engaged. This structured data-driven approach ensures growth for every student. You switch it already? Oh, you're good. All right, goal two, student experience. Our second goal, major focus, is on improving the overall student experience, increasing belonging, engagement, and well-being for both students and staff. Strategy one is expanding student leadership and belonging. We're expanding student leadership opportunities so students feel connected and valued beyond the classroom. Our Aetna Eagle Ambassador program, called the SOAR and Serve Squad, gives students a voice in school initiatives and encourages them to model leadership and kindness. We also celebrate the whole child through monthly recognition assemblies and weekly praise initiatives that highlight academic effort, attendance, and positive character. Strategy two is in strengthening PBIS and SEL supports. We continue to reinforce our positive behavioral interventions and supports system to promote consistency and celebrate positive behavior. All students receive social emotional learning through Character Strong curriculum focused on a different trait each month. We also provide small group counseling to support students with social skills, grief, anxiety, and other needs that affect school success. Our third strategy is in attendance and family partnerships. Attendance continues to be a major focus area. We're using data to identify patterns of absenteeism early followed by personalized outreach, home visits, and strong collaboration with families and community partners. Our goal is to remove barriers, connect families to wraparound services, ensure every student is present and ready to learn each day. Aetna's plan follows a structured cycle. We identify, research, plan, implement, monitor, and reflect. We meet regularly to review progress toward our goals, measure impacts, and adjust strategies based on what the data tells us. This ongoing reflection ensures our work is intentional, responsive, and sustainable. In short, Aetna Elementary's 2025-26 CIP is about empowering our teachers, engaging our students, and partnering with our families to create the conditions for every child to succeed. We are proud of the progress we've made and excited for the continued growth we'll see this year at Aetna Eagle, as our Aetna Eagles soar to new heights. Thank you for your ongoing support of our students, staff, and community. Any questions?
Mr. Ball, middle school.
Okay, round two. All right. Excited to kind of share with you our plans for Watkins Middle School Continuous Improvement Plan this year. Loved hearing from Mr. Smith about their plans. I think you're going to hear a lot of overlap in some of that because that's some really good practice. And so maybe worded a little differently, but very similar. To put it very simply, I think I met with Dr. Perkins and Mr. Tanchevsky sometime this summer. We've been a 3.5-star building the last 2 years. We know we have areas where we can get a lot better, and we want to continue to aim on it. And so my simplistic goal, and this is my goal for the building, is to move to a 4. It's as simple as I can put it. And so a lot of our goals are centered around some of the areas where we see some gaps and some deficiencies, and the hope is to kind of move that in a realistic and reasonable manner. So just some state report card kind of reflection points that you may be aware of. Our state test scores have remained relatively consistent over the past couple years regarding performance. There's gradual improvement coming out of the pandemic, and as the expectations of the state continue to rise, we need to kind of match that. Obviously, 6th grade math and 8th grade science have been well above state scaled scores. Our overall rating, as I said, was a 3.5, but we've stayed around 3 stars in achievement and progress and gap closing. So there's still a lot of work to be done there. Specifically in 6th grade ELA and 7th grade math, those are really 2 areas we're really heavily focused in. Gap closing for all subgroups is something that we're taking a hard look at, and that is reflected in the strategies that we're trying to identify as we move throughout the year here. The other thing, as Mr. Smith touched on, chronic absenteeism is absolutely something that we are focused on pretty heavily as well. We actually missed our chronic absenteeism goal that the state put forth this past year by 0.5%. And when you consider the total number of kids that reach chronic absenteeism, we're not talking about a large number of kids. This is a small number that we can move that'll get us in that area where we can identify some things. We did make some decisions in the spring regarding strategic staffing about moving some folks around that we thought were important to do in order to make the moves that we thought were necessary. We also are in the full year of implementation with our HMH curriculum, which we think will reinforce and support and help our language arts department for all grades. So goal 1 area, demonstrate expected growth for all subgroups annually as measured by the local report card, with a focus on improving achievement by 3 points for all students in those subgroups. And so just a couple things about our action steps here as a whole. We want to empower teachers to be data-driven, which we did so with the Ohio Improvement Process last year. But as we went through there, it was very clear that we needed more specific information for teachers to be able to guide them through that process. So this past summer, we spent pretty much every day kind of poring over some of our data, looking at what was effective, what was ineffective, researching evidence-based practices to try and support that. And the number one thing we kept coming back to was building teacher efficacy, right? Giving them the ability to make data-driven decisions, but then kind of make those decisions in a way that's going to allow them to see how effective their teaching is on student performance. And so those what those conversations have consisted of. So we have implemented a more structured teacher-based team protocol this year. And we have set up assessment cycles where we are continually having teachers reflect on formative assessment data, not waiting until we take restart readiness or at the end of the year, right, let's shorten the decision-making here. And so we are making shorter windows of decisions about what different groups of kids and subgroups need. And so those established structures, we've provided some training for teachers. Our admin all push into all the TBT meetings, and they work alongside them. We are a partner in this. And we use that to use the data review cycle so that we're being intentional about the effectiveness of our instruction. And so really the aim of that is shorten the window so that way we can make more informed decisions quicker rather than waiting too long. Now that we've done this, the next step in this phase is going to be centered around observations. And what we want to do is give teachers the ability to get out of their classrooms, work with their grade level teammates to go visit each other and watch these practices be put into place. And so this will have more informed decisions. You know, they can have better conversations. The structure we provided has like a 4-question structure where they're consistently looking at what gaps exist in instruction, you know, where they need to go in terms of decision making, and then reflecting once they put that into place. And so by being able to get out of the room and go observe each other, this will inform their discussions a little bit more. So both of those, you know, are all focused on the student achievement piece at trying to shrink some of those gaps with the different subgroups we have. As far as the student experience, our goal is to demonstrate increased staff student well-being through improved attendance, increased participation in extra co-curriculars, and decreased behavior referrals. We have 3 strategies we're looking at here. We already touched on, we mentioned attendance. You know, a stat I keep coming back to that I see regularly is when you look at pre-pandemic attendance, chronic absenteeism, the peak after the pandemic, it almost doubled, right? We're seeing improvement, but it's still very high. And the concern I have is when we look at our different tiers of kids is, you know, you have your extreme cases of kids missing large amounts of school, which are kind of the traditional groups that occur. But I'm concerned also about our honor roll students who are missing 20 and 30 days of school year, all right? Because the parent's not necessarily drawing the connection to the missing school because their kid's still performing. And so we have to do a balanced approach to this. We have to educate parents about this because it's evident, you know, in research that there's not a direct correlation or concern there. But I've tasked Mr. Hare in our building with developing an attendance team. We were already having these discussions in the summer prior to, I think there was some new legislation and some pieces or suggestions within the state. But he is meeting bi-monthly with an attendance team of people where they're looking at attendance data. They have a tiered, structured approach for intervention. They are trying hard to partner with families. We've already had one attendance incentive activity at the beginning of the year just to make school a welcoming and open environment and work with parents to develop more student success plans and strategies. And so our hope is to really tackle that, and I think he's done an excellent job with that so far when we're reviewing some of our data, so that's outstanding. The other thing we noticed when we looked at some of our behavior data is there was a very small pocket of students that struggle with certain behaviors, social, emotional dysregulation, things like that, that were responsible for a large number of our office referrals. And so we obviously needed to do a better job at providing those children with what they needed. And so our counseling department has been tasked with pushing into these classrooms to support those students. We purchased new social emotional learning curriculum that is aimed at emotional dysregulation and helping kids calm down. And we're really trying to target what we're doing there in a more proactive way. That way those groups of kids aren't continuing to struggle in that and get them what they need. The last thing ties to our PBIS recognition system. I felt pretty good over the last couple years about what we've been able to do to recognize kids and teachers in the building for doing the right things and doing some excellent things as a whole. But we're trying to expand what we're doing with that. We actually adopted the high school's PBIS card system, which has gone really well. It's been a little more seamless for kids and they get a little more understanding of what the connections to what they're able to do with those cards. And we're also trying to provide more community connections to the school in terms of how we're hosting community-based events. I mean, we've had The last 2 years, we've had our culture night, which has been huge. I think we had 1,000 visitors to the building last year, and which was phenomenal. We host a math night, which is really well attended by families as a whole too. So a lot of this is about bringing people into the building and building that connection and making Watkins Middle School an enjoyable place for them to be. That's all I have. If there are questions, I could certainly answer anything for you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving along, request to speak, Teamsters Local 413, Southwest Looking Education Association.
They have conferences tonight.
Okay.
That's why the principals are,
They what?
they have conferences tonight, yeah.
All right. Approval of minutes, 4A.
Motion to approve 4A?
Second?
Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Zani. Yes. Mr. Benson.
Yes, those are approved. We will now move on. We wouldn't want to forget about the financial report, so we'll move on to 5A.
Motion approval.
Second.
Good on agenda is executive session for the end of September. Fairly routine month. Revenue is a little higher than we expected, mainly because of interest income. And expenditures, other expenditures are higher, basically it's timing of payments. We got some insurance, liability insurance, we usually pay in July, we didn't get the bill until September. And then we obviously some higher in textbooks costs, so overall, we're doing well. I still think we'll be fine within the budget for the year. I'll be glad to answer any specific questions.
I think we're good. Anybody? Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mr. Zani. Yes. Mr. Benson.
Yes, that's approved. We'll move on to the personnel consent calendar.
Motion to approve 6A through L. Second?
So the only thing that I really wanted to point out to the board was there is a recommendation for termination of employment for one of our bus drivers due to failure to maintain an acceptable attendance record, and also when offered multiple opportunities for pre-disciplinary hearing, failed to show up or reschedule. So unfortunately, we need to part our ways so we can hire someone that can drive our kids to school every day.
Okay.
And other than that, everything else is normal.
Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Zani. Yes. Mr. Benson.
Yes, that is approved. We'll move on to business items.
Motion 7A through E?
Second.
You want to take A and B, Rick, and I'll take the rest?
Yes, so A is a resolution to join the Ohio School Benefits Cooperative for our basic for our medical insurance. It's ran by Medical Mutual, which is who we have our insurance through. So it's really a self-funded pool, but we're acting as like a fully insured in it, so we're protected. Basically, look at renewal eventually. Originally, Medical Mutual came in at 15%. They dropped it down to 8%, but the OSB, they came in at 3.9. And they have a guarantee you won't go to 15%.
Right.
Every year, which is huge.
This is our first time.
They said, our consultant said they ready might go over 10, even though we're in the bad. So it gives us a little more protection. There's no change in coverage whatsoever. Nothing changes. It's ran by Medical Mutual. So it's just a good thing. So this is a resolution to allow us to rejoin it. And then B is our insurance renewals. Again, as I indicated, stay with Medical Mutual through the high school benefits cooperative, 3.9% increase. In the 5-year forecast, I had 15% in there. So that's almost a $300,000 savings per year. So 1.5 made over the forecast. So that's a huge number. And then our dental insurance, we've been running pretty high. They went out to market, and MetLife came in with a really good renewal at 4.2%. We were discussing options about maybe increasing the maximum benefit yearly, which has only been $1,000 forever. Part of our insurance committee, which includes some members of the teachers union, we decided, based on recommendation from our insurance consultant, was to add a second dental option. It's more expensive, but it has 2,000 instead of 1,000. It has
Okay.
like 1,500 versus 1,000 on braces and stuff. So it's higher. The board doesn't pay more. We pay a flat $35. So it doesn't. It's 100% the employee's option. Option 1 is the default option. You have to tell us if you want to get option 2.
Okay.
But there's a benefit for that, but that's a 15% increase if they want to do that. Vision, we're on a guarantee, same thing with life, we're on a guarantee for a couple of years, so no increase whatsoever.
On the health insurance, does the network change?
No, it's never mutual.
Okay.
Exactly the same.
That's nice.
Okay, and you're just grouping together other school districts, and so
Yes.
you're sharing the risk across them, correct? Is that what's going on?
Exactly
Okay.
what it is.
This is the first time we've been involved in something like that,
Yes,
correct?
it is. Yes, this is based, our insurance consultants, they have other school districts in this as well. That's
And-
why they're kind of recommending, because we've been running rough the last 2 years, and right now we're running a little bit better. So it's now a good time to join, and hopefully we can keep on the path of better coverage and better service.
This membership every year?
No, it's just you can stay in it as long as you want to, but if you leave for any reason, you have to wait 2 years to get back.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So, we still will look at the renewal and say, that's what I'm updating you and say, that renewal look good and how it ran. But if we don't need to change, we just stay in it.
Okay.
Okay, my turn.
Yep.
So we have a resolution of impracticality for 3 additional students to pay them in lieu of transporting. And then I wanted to take a moment. We had our policy board meeting yesterday, reviewed quite a few policies from May as well as September. I'm kind of going to go through and just give you a quick snapshot of each one. I will say that some of the policies that we discussed yesterday need additional work, so they'll be coming back most likely at the November meeting and or December, depending on when we get with legal and that sort of thing. So policy BF, the board policy development adoption. This policy was updated to provide flexibility for the policy review process. A lot of these are very almost just revisions, so they're simplistic, not wholesale changes. DBD budget planning, that is updated to reflect the changes that it's new what it's called instead of 5-year forecast, and also changes to 3 to 5. So that falls from Rick. Do you want to add anything, Rick, or is that good? Good. Okay.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, it's just
like the changes in the
yeah. 3 is expense. DLC is expense reimbursement. So it has removed now the prohibition of employees using their, the rewards cards or their, frequent flyer miles, those sorts of things. Before they were not allowed to do that, and now they can. Obviously, we as a district, and in our handbook, we prefer them to use the district credit card to always check that out if possible. But when not possible, if they did use their Kroger card or something, it's not illegal now. The school bus safety program, EEAC, it just outlines the school safety issues that we have to put in place for our school bus, and Ryan does a good job of adapting to those changes and implementing that each year. I think Buster was over here today, actually, at the ELC. So let's see. Next up, we have EEACCR, student conduct on district managed transportation. So again, this is just to update all the changes. You're actually, in ORC, you're going to notice a lot of these have to do with van drivers. So I'm not sure what in the law has changed, but now they're adding in the vans into all of our policies. So you're going to notice that in quite a few as well. That is a new policy, speaking of, EEACD, drug testing for motor van drivers. This is something we already do for our bus drivers, so it's just adding the van drivers in with that group. And then we have policy EEAD, non-routine use of school buses and motor vans. Again, adding the vans into our policy. EHA, district records, commissions, records retention and disposal. It's just updating to reflect the amended ORC definition of what a record is. Your personal notes are not your records for other people, all that kind of stuff. EHC, cybersecurity, updated to, again, the new law to require districts to establish a cybersecurity program that meets state law requirements. So again, things that we reevaluate and put in practice. GBQ, criminal records check. Again, this adds in the motor vans. If you're going to drive a van, you have to have the background check. Let's see, GCI, certified staff assignments. So this is an interesting one. This now requires the superintendent to assign teachers to positions based on the best interest of students. It takes out seniority for assigning teachers. So anyways, that's that one. And then we have IGBB, which is programs for students who are gifted. A lot of changing in semantics, but when reviewing with the gifted coordinator, these are things we already are doing, have in place, or are adapting to make sure we are aligned. So we have no concerns there. IGBEA-R, the reading skills assessment intervention. Again, these are to reflect the changes made by House Bill 96 for our reading requirements. I'm just skimming around here. IGD, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Rick put these by alphabet, mine are different. This is about open enrollment students. So just maintaining that if you, we don't have open enrollment, but if you're in another district and you want to play sports, you don't have it, you go to a community school, private school, that kind of stuff. It also had a recommendation for ice hockey, but we obviously don't have ice hockey, so we're not including that in the policy, and we don't anticipate having that anytime in the near future. IGDJ.
It's also
I gotta find it. Which page is on? You went?
It's also athletics.
Oh, it's the same one. Athletics. Thank you. Yep. IGDJ. Same thing. Athletics. Okay. So again, just updating to allow kids. Also, the is this the military one? Sorry. Nope. That's JECBB. Okay. Hang on. We'll get there in a minute. IKE, promotion and retention to students. This is going to remove that you can't retain kids if they're absent for more than 10% of the school year. So prior, that would be one of the metrics we would use when looking at retention. Obviously, a lot of times absenteeism goes along with when you're not being successful, but that is not a metric allowed to be used anymore. IKF graduation requirements includes our new financial literacy at the high school, which we're already doing. Was suggested, as always, to go to 20 graduation credits. It was the decision last night of the group to maintain 21. That's also the recommendation of Melissa Ladowitz at the high school. Interdistrict open enrollment. This policy adds in that we do have to allow, and we actually recently had one parent seek out this option to allow you to open enroll in our district if you don't live here, but your parent is an active member of the armed forces. Use of cell phones, JFCK, and electronic communications. This is aligned with the new cell phone policy, but making sure everyone understands during emergencies, same as above with emergency and safety plans, students are able to use their cell phone when that may happen. And lastly, JHG is reporting child abuse mandatory training. This is updated to reflect changes to youth suicide awareness and prevention training and child abuse education training, which we do. Okay, does anyone have any questions on all those policies?
We're good. This is just reading number one.
Yeah, a lot of them are pretty simple changes. Again, a lot are the motor van, adding the van in, aligning with the cell phone, and truancy is a big one too. They're removing a lot of that for a lot of these policies, that you can't count that for things. Okay. And then for the rescind policy, that's rescinding that because we have policy JED, which takes the place of that, so we don't need that policy anymore.
Any questions? Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Spindler,
Yes.
Mrs. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Zani. Yes. Mr. Vincent.
Yes, those are approved. We will now move on to agreements and contracts. I think we could probably take them all.
Motion to approve 8A through F.
Second? Oh.
Okay, Mr. Jones.
So, yeah, number one, as part of our annual audit, I usually sign this, because we don't have a choice, but now we bring all agreements to the board, so just down audit cost, so forth. B is our East Central Ohio, they help us with E-rate funding, E-rate, applying for it, category 1 and category 2. Last year's first year, they helped us, and they helped us quite a bit, so they're really beneficial. Mary Woodford, do you want to say anything?
She's just one of our outside school psychologists who handles some of our outside cases.
And D is the addendum to New Beginnings.
Yep, so the original New Beginnings agreement, which is who we use to help support some of our students with autism at Bridge Academy. As we're expanding that program, this basically puts in an addendum to add additional staff as needed. So we would still need to sign off, do the request in writing, but when we do need to add additional staff, this allows the district to do that.
And we are still adding as we go through the year, right?
Yep. So we've added one so far, and actually just the last 2 weeks we've been getting requests from other districts. So we've evaluated 2 students so far. Some aren't fits based on age or category, and over the years that program will expand to hopefully serve every student. But right now, it's the ones we have, we're about 14 on each side, and our goal is to get up to 18 by the end of the year.
E is basically our selling bleachers company. We did work with our attorney and did a basic request for proposals from 3 different bleacher companies. Southern Bleachers was the one that came in with the lowest cost based on basically cooperative purchasing agreements, and we at least have to bid it. So this is a new 1,500 seat visitor bleacher with a press box and 250 seat bleachers for a soccer field is what's included in this package. Concrete foundations and all that stuff. Again, this is by $1.2 million to be paid out of the O7O, the $130 million that we moved. This is one of the projects that was identified as part of the money being moved, was for athletic facilities and stuff like that.
What is our current soccer
About that.
seating?
It's similar. I can't remember the
It's
exact.
400 and now we're going to
We're gonna go
It's
up.
a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit
Go
more.
up
They're
like
very
100.
similar, yes.
Are we able to adjust that though, so there's more for the home seating as far as that goes? Because I know from sitting there this year, when JV and varsity play together, at least the boys, it's tight.
It's the same for the girls.
Even 50, I just feel like
I mean, we can,
we need more than that, or we
We
need
can
to
look
have a
into it.
discussion about that.
This is for the, what it is, we can reach back out and see what we can do by getting the price of other sides. At least the side, the home side, what do you think, it's like 300?
I would probably say 350. I think it's fine to keep the visitor bleachers the way that they are. But I know the home side, we definitely need some more seating there.
We'll look into that, something probably back in November. Again, attorneys work with us on this. Next, we are moving to the track and the football field. That's kind of the next project.
So if we approve this tonight, then it's still open for discussion to add more later?
Yeah, we'll just reach out to them about
oh,
getting
yeah,
Okay.
change that.
and add on, what's, if this says, this gives us permission to go over exceed by 10%, so if it's less than $100,000, we can just move forward with a bigger bleacher.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
and I would think it would be. But, so that's something we'll definitely look into. And the last one is EL purchase services. The lady helps us with any kind of EL services we need.
Yeah, she's very, very helpful.
Questions on any of those?
Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Engel?
Yes.
Mrs. Finley?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Zion? Yes. Mr. Benson?
Yes, that's approved. We will now move on to donations with thank yous.
Motion 9A through C.
Second?
Again, as always, donations, we appreciate those. There's a couple of in and outs, just timing on getting the purchase order in place prior to the invoice coming, and then some additional things above us. Fairly routine.
Okay, Mr. Jones?
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Engel?
Yes.
Mrs. Finley?
Yes.
Mr. Zion? Yes. Mr. Benson?
Yes, those are approved. We'll now move on to superintendent's comments.
So all good stuff tonight. So first, I'm not sure, I don't think we've announced yet. We're going to definitely be recognizing her next month, but we had Nora participated at the state tennis tournament today. She is the first girl in the entire Licking County to ever go to the state tournament for tennis. So that's a huge accomplishment in itself, and then on top of that, to be the first one in the entire county is really an awesome experience. So we'll definitely bring her in here to be acknowledged and recognized next month. She's in Mason today, so wanted to share that. And then obviously a super busy week with all the Battle of the Broad. We had the spaghetti dinner on Monday night. So last year they sold 120 dinners, and this year we had Rotary this morning with the football coaches. They sold over 200, and that's how many meatball stuff they bought, and we're starting to dip into the Nutcrackers supplies. So it was a huge success this year. The Rotary was really excited for that participation.
I wish I could have been there.
Yes, well, there's always next year. So it was great, and
It was delicious.
they do a nice job. The whole thing is just really nice.
I took one for the team, went to the booster meeting, but it's all good.
So obviously we celebrated our students of the quarter,
Yeah.
our tremendous staff of the quarter on Tuesday, and we found out today at Rotary had the coaches, they always speak before the game before the game tomorrow night, but we did not win the blood drive, which we typically don't. I think that's location, personally. I'm going to see if we can move that for next year, but I reminded them we won the spaghetti eating contest, so although not philanthropic, that is something. They'll announce tomorrow, we'll be on the field before the game, and they will announce the canned food drive winner, so we shall see how that shakes out. And then obviously we'll have the game tomorrow night. I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Any questions for the superintendent? Okay, seeing none, I think we can now entertain a motion to go into executive session to consider the employment or compensation of public employees. For all in attendance, there will not be any board action afterwards. We'll just be adjourning after that. So I'll entertain a motion if someone would like to make it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Mrs. Engel?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Spindler?
Yes.
Mr. Zani?
Yes.
Mr. Vincent?
Yes, we are in executive session at 6:57. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting back to order. It is 7:30. We are in the district meeting room. Mr. Jones, will you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Engel?
Here.
Mrs. Moore?
Here.
Mrs. Spindler?
Here.
Mr. Zani?
Here.
Mr. Vincent?
Here, we have a quorum. We will continue. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Jones.
Mrs. Spindler?
Yes.
Mrs. Moore?
Yes.
Mrs. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Zani?